Preparing to enter the sun's orbit. Engaging autopilot lock. All thrusters at full. Control to HQ, we are ready to depressurize the cabin. Securing airlock in 3, 2, 1. We have a successful airlock, ladies and gentlemen. I am picking up unusual solar activity around the flares in the northern pole of the sun. Engaging view shield. Copy that, headquarters. We are seeing some unusual activity in our thrusters.
Thrusters malfunctioning.
Mayday, mayday, we just had all thrusters go offline. We've compromised our orbit. We are beginning to fall into the sun. We can see a large solar flare approaching. Hard to look at. We're going to crash into the sun. Mayday, mayday. I repeat, we are going to crash into the sun.
Just kidding, I'm fine. Just a light bulb. Anyways. Welcome to Space Zelda. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. Welcome to the coolest game I've seen in a long time in Steam. Welcome to the game Outer Wilds.
One, not that one.
Why do you play video games? For me, I enjoy the pure fun of sometimes clicking heads. Sometimes fun for me is pretending like I know what I'm doing on a racetrack. For some people, it's whatever the hell this is.
Give back my panties!
What if Dan just had big old tits?
They seem to sell a lot on Steam. It boils down to one thing, and that is entertainment and fun. I grew up in the era of the GameCube, the N64, and the PS2. Those were like the holy trinity of my childhood. That's where all my nostalgia is cram-packed into. And if you're around my age, you probably had a similar experience. I loved the games as a kid that I played that took me out of the living room couch and spat me out somewhere in video game world, who knows where. That magic that was so prevalent in those games just seemed to disappear. Those games encapsulated everything that I enjoyed about an intriguing story, fantastic gameplay, a unique world and setting that I'm not used to. And now it's just rehashed cutscenes, boring dialogue.
Like Mario and Princess Peach.
Just the same shit recycled over and over again for a quick buck. In other words, I'm sort of in search for the sequel to my childhood. And I found it. You gotta play this game. Check out Outer Wilds. This game feels like it came straight out of the good old PS2 era where I cannot believe this game is not licensed by Nintendo. This has every ounce of Nintendo magic I remember being in the GameCube and N64 than actual Nintendo games these days. With that said, let's get into it. I will be keeping this relatively spoiler-free, although I will be talking about a few special things in the game. You could miss all of the story in this game. You could completely not pay attention to it all. Here's the premise. You're out there exploring space. You got 22 minutes. The sun's gonna explode and you're gonna have to do it all over again, but you're not the first to do it. And you might just be the last. So what did the people before you find? Why is there a time loop in the first place? And it's great because it's not being forced down my throat. I am a sucker for this type of storytelling, when it's up to me to piece together all of the missing pieces, and I know the pieces fit. I know the pieces fit! Sorry, flashbacks. The story is told to you in a way where you're not getting it in a linear fashion. You're just getting bits and pieces of points randomly. And if you're still watching now, let me take 3 seconds to ask you to consider subscribing to my channel. Thank you. There's victories, there's mysteries, there's thrills and horrors. There's so much in this game that is, oh my god, type of content. I just had to know what happened next. I went to bed at like 7 AM when I first played this game, and I was pissed. I was pissed at myself because I wanted to keep on playing, and I haven't felt that since I was like 15. This is nuts. A game that has no weapons or guns feels twice as intense as any sequence from Call of Duty or Battlefield. I swear to God, this is the coolest shit. 22 minutes before the sun explodes and you warp back to where you started and do it all over again. The difference being you retain the knowledge of what you explored beforehand, which means you can go to every part of the galaxy you want, and every place you got to can be fairly easily accessed within just a few minutes of you waking up again, which gives you that feeling of progress is never being lost, instead it's being gained. Trying to navigate your ship around planets racing around a zero-gravity environment is just a straight-up hardcore experience. Trying to match velocities around orbiting moons while fighting the pull of gravity from neighboring planets or suns had me literally holding my breath as I spin violently around another object that's spinning even violently more violent. This is most apparent when gravity shifts depending on where you are in your orbit, and your ship just falls off the planet as it drifts off into outer space.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no. Well, there goes that. Let's make something very clear. Zero gravity is not you just floating where you're standing. It's falling at terminal velocity. Imagine falling off a skyscraper and at the same time trying to like rescue a cactus. That is a horrid analogy. I specifically remember trying to land on one of the planets in the outset of the game where I wasn't really used to the controls, and once I'd finally aligned trajectories and we were moving together, I started to pull away and I didn't really understand why, and then bam! I fell into like a Jupiter planet. Everything went green and there was like a storm going on and I was freaking the fuck out. Fuck. I was so terrified, and I finally found a way out of it and turned around and just saw this giant green ball shadowing the sun, and it was so scary and intense, and I have not been that scared since I've played like Visage or something. Okay.
I threw my headphones at my fucking mic, dude.
No Man's Sky didn't even come close to this. I really liked No Man's Sky when it came out. Obviously, it was super boring. It wasn't the game triggering a specific event. It's just something that happened because I was in space, and shit happens in space. That should be the tagline of the video. The gameplay is so fresh and fun because it's always engaging you in different ways throughout the world.
Horizontal thrust. Oh no.
Gravity on one planet acts differently on another planet. Things like repairing your ship in a zero-G environment when you're trying to orbit a planet and you're also trying to avoid falling into it on an important playthrough. Shit like that feels so organic and intense and real, and oh my god, if you enjoy good games and hate playing bad games, I think you're gonna enjoy this one.
I'd like to return to the classic.
It's Majora's Mask mechanics. I swear, I was just talking to a friend of mine about how games aren't utilizing this brilliant thing that was made like, what, 20 years ago? The time loop mechanic is single-handedly the best mechanic I've seen in an adventure game. Here's why. When you have a sequenced time loop, it allows developers to have a start point and an end point where they can totally tailor every single event in that time frame. Problem here is that it's linear. When you have a start and an end point, it's a very linear game that doesn't give the player much choice. However, when you have a time loop that repeats, it allows all of these branching events and story elements to occur at the same time while the user is only experiencing one of them at a given point. This is huge because it makes you not the center of the universe. Time loops allow the game to be completely independent of your own involvement in the game, whereas open world games have to rely on the player triggering events, which can feel really video gamey. It's like, oh, what are the odds a plot important fight just happened to break out in front of me? Oh, who would have thought? Instead of the game just serving me a platter of pre-cooked events, the universe is just happening like a universe would just happen. Planets are flying, shit's exploding, stuff's happening. It feels like genuine exploration. The very start of this game, you wake up at a campfire. Wake up! On your very first day of space exploration. There's a beautiful acoustic musical piece that totally sets the vibe, and you can even pull out a marshmallow stick and try your hand at roasting marshmallows. There's an air of relaxation and excitement as you can talk to the villagers who seem optimistic of your journey, despite the many references to past disasters of the Outer Wild space crew.
Why are we still here? Just to suffer?
I love this humble little village. Everything is just a single piece of duct tape away from either catching fire or exploding. I remember looking at the launch pad at the very start of the game and thinking, huh, launch pad made of wood? Doesn't seem like the safest thing. And sure enough, the game even references it, and it's even caught fire in the past. Even down to the spaceship design. If you look around your craft, everything's like just barely holding together. It makes it feel very human and humble without it being preachy and in your face. It's the exact vibe of Wind Waker, down to the character dialogue. The beauty of this is that it's not the game telling me this, I'm finding it out through my own experiences. There's a line that's incredibly important when it comes to storytelling, and that is show, don't tell. This is why I'm not telling you what you're gonna find on these planets. I'd rather have you experience it for yourself. I can tell you how cool the teleporting moon is and how there's so many objects that move depending on what time you're looking at them and when you're not looking at them. I could talk all day about that, but I won't because it's more cool to experience it yourself, and I'm breaking the rule right now just by talking about this. Now that we've had a chance to talk about the aesthetics, let's talk about the music. It's real good. It sounds real pretty and music-like. Just go play the game. Fuck! Guys, thank you so much for watching the video. I completely stepped on my glasses trying to film this, so if you want to pay your respects to my spectacles, hit that subscribe button. I really appreciate it. You have no idea how much it helps me out. Let me know what you think. Leave a comment below. Hit a like on that video, and I will see you guys next video. Oh, whoa.